Good morning. It is bright and early. The sun just came up. Throughout my whole life, I have just never had a good relationship with myself. I've always hated myself and been in a constant cycle of self-criticism, self-deprecation, never feeling good enough, and never feeling beautiful. And honestly, after 26 years, I am done feeling that way. I want to make a change. If you guys watched my last video, Learning to Love Myself, I am basically on a mission to challenge myself to change my life in a lot of ways to help me become more self-confident, self-accepting, and maybe love myself, but that's a stretch. We'll see if we even get there. And I decided that to start, I want to tell myself that I'm beautiful in the mirror every day. And in addition to that, anytime throughout the day when I'm having negative thoughts about myself, where I'm starting to self-criticize, I want to challenge myself to change those negative thoughts into positive ones and focus on having a positive self-narrative. Now, I know this might seem really simple, but for me, someone who has always hated myself, this is actually a very new and uncomfortable territory, and I'm very nervous to do it. I know it sounds so dramatic, but it's tapping into a state of mental vulnerability that I've just never allowed myself to get to. And I really want to take you all on this journey with me so that we can both see together if this shit actually works. But nonetheless, I am really excited to start this new chapter of discovering self-confidence, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next week. So let's do this, y'all. Mwah. Okay. Hi guys, I just got home. I had a long day of work, but it's day one of speaking more kindly to myself. It is like after midnight right now, so I think I need to work on being a little bit more kind to my body. I will admit, I'm sorry, I did not start the day off by telling myself kind things in the mirror because I totally forgot about it until I was in the office, so I figured I could start tonight. But one thing I made an active effort to do today was to mentally speak more kindly to myself. I'll be 100% honest, it felt so uncomfortable and not very fun. And honestly, that's just because I'm trying to change 20 plus years of mental behavior, so it is definitely not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to feel normal, but that is to be expected when setting a new habit. I knew this wasn't going to be, an easy journey. So anytime I would have a negative thought come into my head about myself, I would stop myself, rethink, rephrase it into a positive thing, and mentally repeat it to myself. And it makes me really uncomfortable saying this because I think it's really embarrassing, but it just felt like I was lying to myself, like I wasn't being honest with myself. But I know that's just because of what I've told myself in the past, so it will be a work in progress. We'll see how it will go through this entire week. But it was mostly negative thoughts about my appearance, about the way that I was acting, the way that I spoke, that I look ugly, that no one would want to be friends with me, like all that kind of normal stuff. And again, it's embarrassing to say that, but I just want to be honest, that's what goes through my head every day. But yes, that's how today went. I feel like this is so fucking depressing, bro. I am sorry. Okay, but like I explained before, the challenge for me is to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I am beautiful. It just feels weird and I don't like it, but I've committed. I'm committing to this. I'm going to do it. Okay, let's go. You are beautiful. You are loved. You have a perfect body. You look amazing. You don't need to change anything about the way that you look. Oh my god, it's really weird looking at myself when I'm saying this. Okay. You don't need to change anything about the way that you look. You are perfect just the way you are. It doesn't matter what your brain tells you or what anyone else thinks of you. You deserve to be loved. You are beautiful. Oh, that's really weird. I think, to be honest, it kind of freaks me out because when I talk to myself like this, it makes it feel like I'm actually saying it to myself as another person, which is obvious. It's a fucking mirror, clearly. And I feel like when I say it out loud, it makes it feel more legitimate and real. Sorry if I'm being weird. This is just like a new experience for me. It makes me very uncomfortable, but I know if I don't show this process, then it's something I would never do. So y'all are holding me to it. So what am I feeling so far? There are not words to describe the discomfort that is coursing through my veins right now, but as I continue talking and just looked myself in the eyes, it made it feel more real. So if I'm being honest, do I believe the things that I was saying to myself in the mirror? No, but Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know what to expect, but you guys know that I will be bringing you along for the entire journey, so we shall see. Anyway, it is 1:30 a.m. and I am pretty sure I'm waking up my housemate, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay, so I'm still at the beginning of the week when it comes to this journey of speaking more kindly to myself. I'm still figuring it out, but I did want to talk about and bring you guys in on the journey of me going to therapy, because I'll just admit it, when it comes to concerns like this surrounding my self-confidence, as much as saying nice things in the mirror, talking more positively to myself, having positive thoughts, none of that replaces the importance of therapy and provides any reason for me to not talk about this concern in therapy or just to stop going to therapy. And although I've gone to therapy for years, I think like 6 years now, I feel like the best way to approach this is to mix elements of both, where I'm taking care of myself by continuing going to therapy and utilizing positive mental thoughts and words. Because going to therapy alone isn't going to work if you're not willing to put in the action to change the way that I think about myself and the way that I view my body. And I believe that one of the ways to make a difference is by, doing the things that I'm doing in this video. So to give you a background on my therapy journey, I've been going to therapy for a long time. It helped me get through some of the worst parts of my eating disorder, suicidal thoughts, and just complete hopelessness. And it's really made a huge impact on my life, but I did take a little bit of a break. When the pandemic started, it made it a lot more complicated to go to therapy. And I was actually able to find a service called BetterHelp. And this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. And I think that's actually really, really cool because I've been planning out this series for months. So when BetterHelp reached out and was interested in sponsoring me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I was already going to talk about you guys anyway because I love BetterHelp. BetterHelp has made it so much easier for me to push myself to be consistent when it comes to going to therapy. And that's primarily because all the sessions can be done online from anywhere in the world, which has been really, really helpful as I'm traveling. And BetterHelp does an awesome job of pairing you with a therapist who really understands your individual needs. My primary ones were struggles around eating disorders, self-harm, religious trauma, being gay, and BetterHelp paired me with an awesome therapist who I've been seeing for, I think, over a year now, that understands and can empathize with my concerns so well. I've been paying for BetterHelp for a year. They are my personal favorite therapy service and significantly cheaper than therapy options here in Hawaii, where most counselors here were 4 to 5 times the cost of what a BetterHelp session is. And I always recommend BetterHelp to so many people in my life. I don't know, I just really, really like what they do. And as someone who really advocates for therapy, I am super honored to be able to be sponsored by BetterHelp for this video. BetterHelp's mission is to make professional counseling accessible, affordable, and convenient. So anyone who's struggling with life's challenges can get help anytime, anywhere. BetterHelp has over 15,000 counselors in their network, which may or may not be available in your area, but the service is available for clients worldwide. Plus, I can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so I don't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room or drive across town to go to my session. Visit betterhelp.com/Hyram, that's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And as a special offer to you guys, you can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp at betterhelp.com/Hyram. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. I will admit, in my journey in finding my own self-confidence, I realized I've never really talked with my therapist about my negative self-perception or the way I view myself because, to be honest, all the things I've talked about in therapy have been way more severe trauma and a lot of other things that I've needed to work through, so this has kind of always fell to the bottom of the totem pole. But nonetheless, I do recognize that this is important, and at some point I'm going to have to address it, and I may as well start today in talking to my therapist about it and really dissecting what the heck is going on. And hopefully with his guidance, I think I'll be able to better understand why I think this way and what really needs to change. Okay, check in everyone. I just got back from running, so I definitely look a little sweaty. I smell a little interesting. But I want to do a check-in and just let you guys know how it's been going. It definitely has been interesting. I have noticed that it's helped in some ways. Like, I think it's helped to curb some of the negative mental dialogue that I've continued to have. Like, I've noticed myself catching my own mind and stopping it from continuing to say bad things about myself. But I'm still at the point where telling myself I'm beautiful in the mirror every day just doesn't quite click. It's just not to the point to where I'm just like, yeah, I look beautiful. Don't I love myself? it's just not there yet. But I've continued to do it and I will keep doing it. I have about 3 days left, I believe, so we'll see what happens in those 3 days. Who knows? Some miracles might happen. But I'm about to do it right now, and instead of showing you guys the whole process and, putting you through all that again, I'm just gonna do another check-in tomorrow. So I will see you then. Mwah. Good morning, everyone. As you can tell from my voice, I am exhausted. I feel so freaking tired. I'm in Colorado right now, and whenever I travel away from Hawaii, my body just has the most difficult time adjusting to the time zone. I would think by now that my body has figured out travel, but nope, still got nothing. So consequently, I feel really freaking tired. But it's a new day, even if it is noon. And you can tell that I'm definitely looking not my best, but I'm still gonna look in that mirror and tell myself that I'm beautiful, goddammit. Commitment! I feel like doing this in the morning is always when it's like least believable for me, because I'm standing in the mirror like, you're beautiful. Yeah, it's not the most believable, but I'm still doing it. So far, still feeling good about it. It's definitely not doing anything bad. So I'm gonna continue. I have one more day after this left, so we'll see how it finishes up. I'm excited to give you guys my thoughts. Okay, it is the end of this challenge to myself, and I am really excited to tell you guys what my thoughts have been, how this experience went. If it did any fucking thing, I want to share my thoughts with you. Going into this challenge, as you guys could see, was extremely difficult for me just because it's just something that I've never done before, that I've never truly committed to, and it's kind of laughable how uncomfortable it made me feel at the beginning. It seems so silly, but truthfully, it just made me extremely uncomfortable because it was directly combating the mental narrative that I have always had about myself, which has always largely been extremely critical and very toxic to my own mental health. And I kind of have two different thoughts when it came to what I was doing. When it came to telling myself I was beautiful in the mirror every day, this was something that I had already tried doing in the past. I'd never really committed to it for a long time because it always made me uncomfortable, but this time I did commit to it, and I will admit, it didn't make a huge difference. I personally didn't notice it doing anything revolutionary in the way that I perceived myself. I only did it for a short period of time, so if I continue doing this, which I probably will, I could definitely see that change in the future, potentially. Who knows? You never know with mental health. But I think I was largely disconnected from this because first, I am not an auditory learner, and my love language has never been words of affirmation. That's actually the least of my love languages. It really doesn't matter to me. And for anyone who's new to like love languages and what words of affirmation is, that is if you give or receive love through positive words. So someone who has a love language of receiving words of affirmation, to them, what means the most is when their partner or their family member or their friend tells them they love them, says that they're beautiful, incredible, or writes a note, or any type of way that their love is expressed through words. And that has never ever been my love language. And I think because of that, saying it to myself, while it was an out-of-body experience, really just didn't resonate with me because that's never been a way that I have accepted love. My love languages have always been quality time and gift giving. And in doing this exercise, I realized that maybe the best way to show love to myself is not necessarily telling myself these things in the mirror, but more so doing actions or spending time with myself that revolves around activities that make me feel more beautiful. Now, do I know what those things are yet? No, that's something I'm working on. But I think moving forward, it will be a lot more effective for me to show myself love in the love language that I already accept. That means the most to me. And then I could potentially see a really positive change. So from now on, what I'm going to try doing is show myself love by doing things that make me feel more confident and secure in my body. Some of those things I've noticed in the past are when I go hiking, when I go surfing, going on runs or walks, exercising, because in those moments I have recognized in the past, not necessarily body confidence per se, but definitely body acceptance, where in the middle of doing those activities, I'm like, wow, I am really grateful I have a body that is able to do these things. Like, how lucky and how fortunate am I, and how incredible is it that my body can do this? And I think by doing those things, it will help me gain an appreciation for my body more than any other thing that I've tried before. So we'll see how that goes. I will update you. But I want to talk about the thing that made the biggest impact during this period, changing my mental narrative when it started to get negative. I personally noticed a really big change by doing this in a way that I've never experienced before, because I'll be honest, I've never truthfully tried to change my own mental narrative. It's always been extremely negative, self-critical. It's like my mind is looking for any opportunity to just hate myself and criticize myself, no matter what I'm doing. Healthy, right? But over this last period, as I started to identify when I was having that negative self-narrative and shifting it to a positive one, it made a really big impact. I'm genuinely surprised to say that because, not gonna lie, going into this, I was like, I am determined to make this not work because I am right. Typical Taurus energy, I know. I noticed this in the biggest way when it came to my body, because that's where a lot of my own toxic mental narrative kind of concentrates on. Me thinking I'm ugly, I'm too fat, I need to completely change the way I look, I'm not attractive enough, all these things that have always circulated in my head. As I started to shift the narrative, I noticed that instead of me going to my typical mental coping mechanisms, for example, me thinking I'm unattractive and immediately thinking I need to starve myself, I need to go back to my anorexia, I need to control my weight, I need to lose as much weight as possible, I noticed my thoughts started shifting towards more productive coping mechanisms. Me thinking to myself, well, how can I start to eat better? Let me commit to taking better care of my body. And to the point that I've already started exercising in a healthy way, that I've created a new workout regimen that I'm going to be sticking to, that I've already started to become a little bit more mindful of what I'm consuming. And obviously that's not the perfect solution. Like, I do want to get to the point where I don't have to think of ways to change the way I look and ways to change my body. Self-love and self-acceptance is definitely the end goal. But in comparison to the very unhealthy mental coping mechanisms that I've had in the past, reverting back to my eating disorder, for example, I will admit this is a huge improvement, especially just in the span of 1 week. And I think it really speaks to the power of the mind and how big of a difference it can make just to change the way that you think about yourself and start to think more constructively rather than destructively. I think in this whole experiment, that's definitely what blew me away the most, and I didn't really expect that. To be honest, I thought telling myself I'm beautiful in the mirror every day was going to make a bigger impact. But no, just really trying to shift those thoughts into a more positive place has really yielded a much more positive benefit than I could have expected. And for you watching, I would really recommend trying this out because it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. As you start to shift it just to more positivity little by little, you'll start to notice that the way you perceive yourself and the way that you perceive the world improves a lot. I mean, I even noticed it helping a little bit with my depression as well, which has something that has always plagued me and has always been very difficult to manage. I noticed that it started to help in that way as well, which is kind of monumental considering it is something so simple. But if you are struggling with negative thoughts, always thinking badly or poorly about yourself, I really recommend trying this out and seeing how it works for you, because you are watching someone who has been in therapy for many years, who has gone through extreme self-destructive behaviors and kind of got to the point where I just accepted that my negative self-perception was just how it is. So I'm more surprised than anyone, to be honest, and I don't know if this is, the end-all solution. I'm sure it's not. Mental health is really complicated, but to see how big of an impact it made in such a short period of time, just by doing something so simple, I honestly would really recommend you try it out and see how it works for you. If you have tested this out, please comment down below. I really, really want to see what your experience has been and if you have any recommendations. But yeah, if you've had a hard time thinking of yourself positively, take this as the universe's sign to start shifting your thoughts into a more positive place and thinking about yourself more positively. Thank you guys so much for watching this journey. I'm really excited for you to see the next installment of the series. I'm going to be testing out a new, different type of self-improvement strategy that is very much needed in my life, and I won't go into any detail now because I want to surprise you guys. And if you know someone in your life who struggles similarly with this, feel free to share this video with them. Honestly, I want my videos to just show you guys my own personal journey and hopefully maybe inspire or motivate you to try different things that could help you improve your own mental health. That's really the end goal of this, and no matter how many people watch this video, if it can positively impact one person, that's all that matters. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.